Okay, so we have created the lumber mill and another farmer to expedite the tree growing, and we're on our 10th piece of lumber with the lumber mill. So we are we're selling our silica reserve to keep us going while we finish up the lumber. So then this is going to take just a second. We will delete these trees um, as we create the lumber. But we can't, unfortunately, we got a minute and 15 seconds left before we get back, our money gets back. So when we get that back, we will delete the trees as he takes when we get to taking the last two. That way he won't pick the wood and put it in the lumber or the woodshed and keep us from being able to uh, fit our last piece of lumber. We don't want to waste that water, those water drums. Of course, later on, if we need to make another uh, water facility, that it's only 10K, and then you get 7,500 back when you sell it. So a net cost of 2,500, but really don't want to do it. Now that fuel storage is going to cause that spot to be yellow if we grow there. So we'll leave that piece of road right there alone, and we will not grow, at least at this point in the game, we will not grow anything there. So we're getting rid of the lumber mill, and we're going to start growing some grapes. And besides that, we're going to want to put our lumber mill near our gas facility later. So we would probably delete it and redo it anyway. So I want to set the grapes up also so that we can expand this pond into a 3 pond area so that we can grow trees that are self watered, passively watered rather. So we're I'm just going to put a tree right here for now, but later I can delete it. Trees don't cost that much. Moving my grapes would be expensive mainly because of the lumber cost. So I don't want to do that. So right now we just want uh, our grapes to be close enough that our farmers don't have to walk too far and far enough away from stuff that we don't prevent them from growing green. Um, so now we're going to be selling grapes, and they bring in 41K per sell. So our money situation is going to improve dramatically. And so we're going to have ponds right in this area after a little later on. But probably first we're going to have another row parallel over here, right, starting here and going down too, but we are going to we're going to go ahead and probably start there so that we can grow some, not right there, but where that shrub is, so that we can grow some grapes around that as well. we'll get rid of that wind turbine so that it won't shade them. Those are not going to be really important because once we build a power plant down here, the crude oil will feed directly into them. We don't want to put any oil making products out. So what we can do is have the power plant produce energy and it's free. All right. So right now we have all the energy that will fit in these warehouses, and we're not going to be needing energy for quite some time. So the wind turbines aren't really costing me anything to sit there, but that worker is costing $60 a minute. So we're going to get rid of him. We don't need him. And so we're going to just keep growing grapes for the moment. I've just sent some grapes off to sell. And so we have that money back. Now we're going to start the other side of the pond. That way we can plant our other 5 grapes and have money coming in 41K approximately every about 8 minutes. That will greatly improve our financial situation here. So we're going to go ahead and get that going. And I'm going to take away one of these trees temporarily so that they can focus the water on the pond, but I'll bring it back after that. So this will take this guy a second to do. I'm going to have the gas making facilities down here. I have a power plant with the refinery in the middle, 2 power plants, and then an additional one. And back here I can put a lumber mill so that it can get water from the water pump that'll be right there beside right there. I'm going to remove that rock and put a water pump, but that'll be after we sell for a bit. It's not like an emergency to have that one. And then we'll have a pond right there where that scrub is to facilitate those 2 water facilities. Now I'm going to remove this because it will it will shade our plants because they'll be within 2 spaces of our grapevines. So that's gone, and we're going to plant some more grapes. So we've got 5 lumber, so we will plant 5 grapes. We're planting them strategically so that we can continue the ponds and make 3 in a row and on each side. That way we can have 6 passively watered trees, and those will stay until our very last thing at the end of the game or the end of the build that we will be removing. Now we've got our ponds built out. You can see that we can do 6 trees in there. Right now we've got some grapes. We don't really need that many trees, but once we start building some of this stuff, we will need them at that point. So they're there. for when we need them. So that is, we're going to have a refinery there and a power plant here, a refinery and power plant. So it'd be good if we go ahead and build a pond here, and we will have a water pump on each side of the pump, and then we can have our lumber mill behind it using the water drums from that. We've got energy up there for making more lumber. It'll take 10 energy to make 5 lumber that we will use to make our power plant. So if we have the money beforehand, we'll probably go ahead and make the power plant first and then the refinery. But if we don't have the money, we can always run a refinery without a power plant, as long as we've got wind turbines making energy. We're getting the roads set up. We've got to have paved roads for the refinery and the power plant. So we're going to need to upgrade those roads eventually. So if we do one water pump here and go ahead and do a refinery, then we can make up to 10 gasoline because we've got the 10 water in the warehouse left over, 10 water drums, and that's very likely to be a reality for us. So now we've got the paved road set up for the refinery, and we can put a lumber mill right there, and we can start building some wood sheds back this way. We've built one. We'll have a power plant right here, and I think we've got 4 more cells that we can make. So that's 160K. So it shouldn't be a problem to have a refinery and a power plant, both. But we'll go ahead and build the lumber mill first so that we can build do the lumber for the power plant. And we will probably go ahead and build the refinery first too. All right, so now we've got our lumber mill going. And we're going to go ahead and put our refinery there. That way we know we are not going to mess up and run out of money before we put our refinery there. Because if we did and we couldn't make gas, it would be end game at that point. So we got some more lumberjacks to help keep up wood wise. Let's see what we can do here. Now we're going to also get the road ready for the power plant. We need the paved road there. So we've got $120 worth of sales left that we can make. We got 3 sales, and so we should have plenty of money to put the power plant in. We've already paid for the refinery and that other paved road. So there's no need to activate the refinery until we're ready to use it because it costs like $200 a minute. The power plant costs $300 a minute. So it'd be better to wait. Now we only have 1 cell left, so we're very low on funds. We did kind of cut this close. So we're obviously not going to be able to do the other power plant before we have to make gas. Okay, so and we're not going to be able to do. It'll cost $40K to remove that rock and $50K to put a water pump there. So we are not going to be able to put the other water pump in before we go ahead and make more gasoline. So what we'll do is once we get that power plant built, we're going to be able to turn on our power plant and turn on our refinery, and we can build or create petroleum without costing anything. We're going to put a builder over here to help out with the slow building. I think that corner is not going to be used. But so what we'll do is once we get this power plant going and get this, we can do the petroleum at the refinery without costing anything. So that'll be pretty quick, except for we don't have enough to build our fuel storage back here yet. So he's going to have to run that up, and he'll have to run up when he makes gas to get. We're going to turn on our petroleum, and now we're out of gas and we are in desperate need. So I'll go ahead and make a couple of petroleum, and then I'll stop it and start making gas. Now I need to put a warehouse across the street from the power plant so that we can, I don't know why I clicked on refinery. I'm going to have to cancel that. And what I really meant to do was put a warehouse there. Sorry about that. So let's put a warehouse. Okay. And then we'll put a fuel storage directly across from that refinery. Now I can turn on the power plant and let it make energy and fill this warehouse up. Therefore, when we go to make gas, it'll be a much faster process because he just has to run across the street to get the energy instead of running all the way up front. Once we get a new fuel storage built, we will delete that one, but right now they're having to run up there and use it for petroleum. But things are coming together. This is going to work out. It can get a little tight at times. We've got the 10 water, so we can do 10 gasoline. Okay, so we've been making some gasoline, making some sales. We're almost 100K. Let me stop that process, and we're going to have to restart petroleum. So we're about to use our last, well, we got one more gas after this cell. So we're doing fine, but it's just a very hands-on manual process at this point where we're having to change it back and forth. Okay, so we got the money, get rid of that rock, $40K down the tubes. And we've got a sell out for that, so we can go ahead and put a water pump in place for our other power plant. And we're also going to have to remove that cactus and put a paved road there for that too. However, the point of going ahead with this water pump will keep us from having to run up front to get water and come back. So we will be all passively watered for gas and petroleum at this point. We already were for petroleum, but now for gas. So that will speed us up a little bit, and it will speed us up hugely when we add the power plant, which will be soon. It won't take long now that we've got this temporary method in place of switching back and forth. What we could do is create another refinery right there in front of the oil seep so that we can just turn one on petroleum and one on gas and forget about it. Or not entirely. Until we get the other power plant, it would be slower for the gas anyway. But with the fuel storage being right here, we won't have to run back and forth to the front for the petroleum part. So that'll speed us up quite a bit. And we've got the energy back here. We've got the water passively now. So you'll see that this is like each step that we're doing here is really reducing our production line time. So we've made enough lumber that we can do the power plant easily. It'd be a piece of cake, put a paved road and that other refinery for petroleum. So we're going to actually do 2 more refineries because once we get to the end game part, we're going to need 2 down here making petroleum, and then the other 2, the first 2 original ones, will be making gasoline, and that will allow us to be able to keep up with selling silica so fast because you sell you sell it by barges, so it sells at 100 per cell. However, the rate is every 40 seconds you have a barge selling silica. So we're going to start this other refinery making petroleum, and then the original one making gasoline. And we'll just have to, once we get ahead so far on petroleum, we maybe just need to stop that one and let the gas catch up. But right now, to me, this is a little bit easier so far. We're going to actually add more grapes up through here, up and around everywhere so that we can, and now that we've removed that fuel storage up there, we can plant one at that original spot that we could not before. So we're getting ahead on some lumber so that we can plant more grapevines. and it won't be long, and we'll be making plenty of money. First, we've got to do that power plant, uh, and then we will start working on some grapes. Or maybe we'll go ahead and do some grapes, and then um, we can get to the power plant faster. Either way you want to do that works, of course, because now we're making gas. We're already up to 7 gasoline. Now we're up to 16 gas, and we've got the extra grapes in. We're putting those in, and then this won't take long, and we will save up enough to buy that power plant. It's like, because of the uh, power plant, we got 2 yellow, or because of the refinery, we've got 2 yellow um, sets of grapes, but the rest are okay. And, I'm going to leave those there because yellow is better than none at all, right? And once we put in that power plant, I'm sure those 2 will turn red because the power plant will affect them as well. But we will be okay with that. So we've got 3 trees and 3 lumberjacks. So we're keeping up pretty well with our wood needs right now. And we've got the farmers put around the edges so they're not affecting the grapes. So we're just saving up now for the power plant. And then we can have a hands-off gas production, which is what we want. And we're going to build, after we build the power plant, we're going to build 5 more silos. That way, once we get to a point where we can afford a freight pier, we can sell grapes in quantities of 100. So we've got our power plant, we've got our gas going. What I'm going to do is go ahead and end this video, and this is part 2. So this right here is a point where we are fully producing gas and we are fully producing money from the grapes. The grapes are a good way to earn money to be able to build out the rest of the town. So that is the main point of that. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we're ending part 2 right here.